we all are stored multiple types, like if we can store string and also integer. This type of things happen in linked list, but
Not linked list, I'm saying just list of Python. Okay. So yes, so
with
directly
array.
we can implement the array in Python using lists. We can implement them, but NumPy is a package, means it's not an inbuilt library of Python. You have to first install it NumPy in your system. Okay, so NumPy is a package which facilitates us to use the arrays in a much more better way. Arrays and deal with us with matrices and determinants and many other linear algebra operations. It helps us to deal with them very easily. Okay, so let's first install NumPy. So everyone, open your command prompt right now in your PC. Whoever on your laptop, just open your command prompt right now and ping when you have opened the command prompt. I will tell you a better way to install the NumPy and SciPy library rather than this. This is very useless and it is not much needed here. So just open up your NumPy, your command prompt right now and text when you have opened it. Okay, so type the command pip install NumPy. Everything in small letters, pip install NumPy, and hit the enter key. Pip install NumPy, NUMPY, NumPy. Install that and hit the enter key. Has anyone been familiar with Google Colab here? Hello, is anyone familiar with Google Colab here? Please unmute and answer if you are familiar with Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook, anything like that. Okay, so is the NumPy installing right now in your system? Okay, familiar with GColab. Okay, so Google Colab comes pre-installed comes pre-installed with all the libraries that you will be requiring for machine learning and data analysis. Okay, it is pre-installed. Though some libraries might be unique and they are not installed, so you can install them manually if you want to. Okay, so NumPy is very important library here. So tell me, I guess NumPy has been finished installing. Okay, if NumPy has been finished installing, then type pip install pandas. Pip install pandas. PANDAS, pandas. Okay, so let these two happen in the background and let's begin how working in the NumPy module. Okay, so there are several ways to import the NumPy. Okay, the standard approach is to simply use import statement simply, like how import NumPy. But by general convention, general developer convention, what do we use? Instead of NumPy, we type import NumPy as NP. What does this mean, import NumPy as NP? This means that whenever you are importing the NumPy library in Python, it will always be accessible using the NP keyword. Okay, instead of using NumPy, the whole NumPy word, you can use it as a short form as NP. Okay, then comes from import NumPy import star. Let's see what does this means. This means that from NumPy you are importing certain functions. You're not importing all the libraries in NumPy, but you are importing the certain functions from NumPy. Okay, is that clear? Is it clear how we are importing numpy here? From from numpy import star. This means that you are from numpy you are importing all the libraries. Okay, means all the sub modules and modules from the numpy itself. Okay, but if you want, you can just specify whatever modules that you want to import from the numpy itself, and simply import that instead of importing the whole numpy library. Okay, so let's see what is the central add, what is the arrays feature now in numpy class. Okay, so numpy centrally deal with the feature of arrays. Okay, array object class. Okay, so what are arrays? They are similar to list in Python, except every element of the array must be of same type. Okay, and what type? Only of numeric type, that should be either float or either int. Okay, so let's see how to initialize an array using the numpy function np.array. Because we have imported the numpy as np, we can simply write it as, instead of writing whole numpy, we can simply write it as np.array. Okay, then we have to pass a list of data here and the data type, means how our data is going to be stored here. Like there are two options, int64, float64 are there. Okay, so why this 64? Can anyone answer why this 64 here? Hello.
Sir, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, sure. Just 1 second. Yeah. So my question was, what is int64 and float64, and how it is different from int and float used in Python? Subi.
Sir, in Python, data type means Python is dynamically typed, and like in other languages, there is some specific range of every data type. But in Python, it's totally depend on the memory. There is no boundary of any range of
Actually,
any
that is not
data
what I
type.
am asking. I am asking NumPy deals with arrays in Python itself. Okay, and C++ itself. So these two streams. But when we are dealing it with Python, what is the meaning of int64 here? We are not using int here whenever we are specifying the data type of the array. We are using int64. What is the meaning of this int64 here?
I have no idea, sir, about that.
Anyone else would like to give it a try?
So it
Risha?
specifies the limit of int,
दरवाजा
like
लगाओ,
its
दरवाजा लगाओ.
memory size.
Sorry, I could not hear you. Please, can you repeat?
So it specifies the memory size of int.
No, that's not the correct answer here. So let me tell you. Whenever we are storing anything with int in through numpy, like in an array object class, whenever you are storing arrays in numpy, what happens? Usually Python takes 2 bytes per data. Okay, like whatever list is there, for every single character it takes 2 bytes. Okay, for every single character, whether it's a string, it's the character is of string or of number or anything, it takes just 2 bytes. But what happens when we are dealing with a numpy, it takes 8 bytes to store anything, because numpy it is mostly used for high and lengthy numerical calculations. Like by default, if you are dealing with Python, the Python gives you up to 15 decimal positions, but when you're dealing with numpy, it will give you more than that in float, just I'm telling you. Okay, so that is the thing, that is why we are using int64, because data is being stored as 8 bytes here. 8 bytes are being reserved for every single character of the data. Okay, is it clear the difference between int 60?
No, sir.
sir, I can't understand.
Yeah, is it clear the difference between int64 and float64?
No, sir, I can't understand.
Just let me just simply understand like that. Like in Python, currently, if you are not using NumPy, anything that you stored in the memory, okay, it is first broken down into characters there. Okay, how it is being stored in the memory there? In form of 2 bytes each. For every data, 2 bytes is allocated, every single data. But when we are dealing and storing a number through NumPy, 8 bytes of memory is allocated for every single data. Okay, every single character of the data. Now it's clear?
Yes, sir, now clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Means, sir, NumPy takes a lot of memory, this type of things we can say.
Can you ask again? I could not figure out the question properly.
Means, as you said that NumPy is 64 because 8 to be 8 byte for per character.
Yeah,
Then it means NumPy takes a lot of memory as compared if you are using simply Python.
but not only it takes memory, it is also in faster in execution as well. So our shortcomings are already overcome here. What our shortcoming is, whenever we are coding, the first priority that a developer has, it should be fast. Okay, memory comes
Yes, sir.
secondly. The primary our need is it should be fast. The program should be executing very fast. So while using NumPy, that execution is very fast there. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that is why we are using NumPy. Although it takes more memory, but the execution is so fast that the memory usage is being compensated. The extra memory is being compensated through its speed. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, do you want to ask anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, so np.array is used to create an array. Okay, we are passing a list here and we are specifying the data type here. Okay, similarly, slicing operator also works for array. Every element of the array can be accessed through their index number. For initializing multiple multidimensional arrays, what you have to do, you have to create a list within a list. Okay, means nested lists in a single list. Like here, nested list within a single list. So this is a list which contains 2 sublists of 3 elements each. Okay, so now this has become a multidimensional array. Okay, one second. So yes, array.shape. Array.shape gives you the current shape of the array. Means what is the exact dimension, how many rows and columns are there in the array. Okay, array.dtype gives you what are the type of data that it is being storing. See, float 64 here. Okay, then len function gives you the length of the array. In operator, again membership operator, tells you whether a particular element exists in an array or not. Reshape helps you to reshape the array. Like it is here, one dimensional array, it has been converted to a multi-dimensional array. Means a 2-dimensional array of 2 columns and 5 rows. But here it was 1 column, 1 row and 10 columns. Okay. Then copy function creates a copy of the array. ToList function converts an NumPy array into a list. Okay. ToString function converts a NumPy into a binary string. Okay, not in human binary string. Remember, not in, it cannot be read by human. Okay, and then from string function is converts the binary string back to normal string, back to the data which human can read easily. Okay, the NumPy array, which was okay. So let's understand what is this toString and forString. ToString, what it does, it converts the data that we see in to binary string. Okay, binary string format. Okay, and from string converts that binary string format back to the original human readable format. Okay, then one can fill the array with single value like a dot fill equal to 0. Okay, then you can also generate an array through randomly using the range function. Okay, you're putting the range function here, like range 6 means the array should will be containing 0 to 5 elements, means elements will be ranging from 0 to 5. Okay, and it will be stored as a float category type, and it will be reshaped. The single layer array will be reshaped to 2 columns and 3 rows each. Clear? Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now clear.
Please respond on time, otherwise it's hard to figure out whether it's clear or not. Okay, so then, and flatten. Okay, flatten, what it does, it converts the multidimensional array into a single dimensional array. Transpose function, similar to that of matrix transpose that we have did previously in the matrices in the mathematics. I hope everyone has remembered the matrix. While doing matrix multiplication, we are finding the inverse of the matrix and then transposing it. I hope everyone remembers this formula. So the transpose term, okay, means converting the rows into columns and converting the columns into rows. Concatenate, concatenate means joins the to many arrays. Okay, like for minimum it requires 2 arrays, but if you can give multiple arrays here, and it will join all them into a one array. Okay, remember the dimensionality of the array can be increased using new axis parameter here. What does this new axis does? It adds a blank axis. Okay, means a blank dimension. Like an example would be, suppose that if you have only a length here, a single line here, what it will do, it will add a line parallel to it, so it becomes multi-dimensional. Remember, it will not link these two dimensions together unless and until you manually fill the data in the newer dimension. It won't be linked. Okay, so it will be just a blank dimension, like a parallel lines. Okay, now you might be wondering what will be the use. Sometimes in many functions what happens, we require multi-dimensional array instead of single dimension array. So here this new access function comes up very helpful. Okay, is it clear till here? Then a range function. Okay, a range, what it does, add a range. So the first parameter will be the range up to which values you want to be filled the array with, and second will be the data type. Okay, then np.ones. Okay, it will create an array of particular shape with filled with only one. Okay, then np.zeros, same thing, just with zeros this time. The array will fill with zeros. Similarly, zeros like and ones like, what will these two do? Ones like will create a copy of the previous array. Okay, there is, suppose there is an array existing which is of 3 cross 3. So if you use zeros like function, it will create a 3 cross 3 array filled with zeros. And if you use ones like, it will create a 3 cross 3 array, a newer one filled with ones. Then identity function. Okay, identity function will create you an identity array, identity matrix, not an array, identity matrix. Okay, then np.i will return you an matrix diagonally filled with ones. Okay, and what it takes, it will take as an argument which column to begin with first. Okay, so if you put k equal to 0, the matrix return will be an identity matrix. If you put k equal to 1 and size is 4, suppose that, then our matrix will be look just like this in the example given here. I'm rotating the mouse pointer here, this example. Okay, now array mathematics. As usual, array can be added, subtracted, divided, multiplied, floor division, exponentiation, and even modulus can be done. Okay, and here array should be of same size. For this, all these array mathematics to be occur. Okay, one more important point for two-dimensional arrays here, multi-dimensional arrays. In normal product here that we are doing, they are element wise product, not the matrix multiplication. Means each element will be multiplied with the respective element located at same index position, same row and same column. Okay, not the matrix multiplication is being occurring. There will be a specific function for matrix multiplication. Okay, then array.broadcasting. Okay, what does broadcasting mean? Suppose that if our two arrays are unequal in shape and size, then the smaller array will be broadcasted, means automatically copied to match the dimension of the first array, and so that the mathematics can take place. So that is known as broadcasting. Here Python automatically broadcasts the array in this manner. Okay, automatically broadcast. But if we want the broadcasting to occur in a specific direction, we can specify using the axis parameter. Like if we want the broadcasting to occur horizontally, we will put axis equal to 0. Otherwise, sorry, vertically we will put axis equal to 0. If we want horizontally, then we will put axis equal to 1 here. Then apart from these, NumPy also provides us with several other functions. ABS stands for absolute, sine stands for signed. Okay, then SQRT square root, log means natural logarithm, log 10 means logarithm to the base 10, exponentiation, exp, sine, cos, tan means arc sine means sine inverse, arc cos means cos inverse, arc tan means tan inverse, then sin h, cos h, and tan h. Again arc sin h, arc cos h, and arc tan h. All these are possible here. Okay, then other functions such as float, which gives the smallest integer greater than or equal to x. Okay, and ceil, which float gives us smallest integer less than or equal to x, and ceil gives us smallest integer greater than or equal to x. Okay, then RINT, rounds of an array, means rounds of a data. Okay, to its nearest decimal position. You can specify the number of decimal positions in the parameter here. Also, NumPy contains two important mathematical constants, NumPy, that is pi and e value, the value of pi and the value of e. Okay, did you understand till here? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Any doubts to anyone? Hello, any doubts to anyone? Okay.
No, sir.
No doubts. Okay, so array iteration again for x in a. I hope we remember this method, how we are using iterating the for loop, just like we used in the list method. Same is the thing with arrays. Okay, because they are essentially list itself, just it contains data of similar type. So that is the difference between array and the list here. Okay, so what you can do here, क्लास ले रहे हैं हम, रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, मजाक नहीं, रिकॉर्ड हो रहा था. Okay, what, yeah, So array iteration, it's similar to that of a list. Okay. Then multiple assignment can also be done, like here it's a multi-dimensional array, so you have to use multiple variables to access the both elements together, like x and y here, like in form of pairs we are accessing. Okay. Now basic array operations: a dot sum gives you sum of the array elements, a dot product gives you the product of array elements, then min gives you the minimum element of the array, max gives you the maximum element of the array, mean gives you the mean of the array, var gives you the variance of the array, std gives you the standard deviation of the array, argmin gives you the index position of smallest element, and argmax gives you the array index position of the largest element. Okay. We can also specify this using the access method, like whichever access you want it to occur. Okay. Then clip function clips an array within a specified index position range. Okay, means copies an array between a certain range of index positions. Okay. Then diagonal of an array. Okay. You can print the diagonal values of the array matrix here, or the multi-dimensional array using a dot diagonal method. You can find the unique elements of the array with this unique method. So see why I was saying that NumPy is very fast in execution, because for every single kind of execution that you want to do, every single kind of execution, there is a one function for each of it in the NumPy array. Okay, and that function not only completes the program, but it manages to complete your query. It manages to fulfill your query in a fast and efficient way, because although it takes space, but it does perform its calculation in very fast. Okay, and how does it do that? Can anyone wonder why is NumPy so fast in execution? So my question is, why is NumPy so fast in execution? Try to answer it. Try random guessing. Why NumPy is very fast? Hello? Can anyone answer this? Why NumPy is so fast? Okay. Not dynamically memory allocation here. Nothing of memory here. There is no use of memory in its fast execution. NumPy is very fast because
Sir,
it uses all the programming codes of the CPU. Okay, so that is
you
why
can
NumPy is very
say,
fast.
hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm
Yeah.
audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
I want to say that NumPy is very fast because it is used the same, it is work on the same data type.
2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Give me. Yeah. Now you can say there is some there.
Sir, I want to say that as you asked the
Your
question
voice
that
is very low. Can you speak a bit
now,
loud?
sir, hello.
Yeah. Now it's
Now,
audible.
sir, sir, I want to say that NumPy is very fast because it is work on the same data type, means data type element.
I'm
Like,
still not able to figure out. Can you just type that in chat box? I'm not able to figure out what you're saying.
okay, sir.
Yeah, now you can say it once the mixer has been closed. Can you say it again?
Sir, NumPy is very fast because it work on the same data type
No,
value.
no, 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 not. It uses all the programming codes. That is why it is safe. It is fast. It uses
It
all
means,
the
sir,
programming codes of the CPU, so that makes us very fast.
CPU. I can't understand.
Like you have seen the memory here. that we use, okay, in the CPU. There are some 4 cores or 5 cores or 6 cores. Like i9 has 8 cores is there in i9. So due to that, what happens, for a process of only one particular core is being allotted. But what happens with Python, it you instead of getting one core, just one single core, what it does, it takes up all the cores of the CPU, okay, and uses it for its performing its calculation. So one core of the CPU is being doing one, the task is subdivided into different tasks as per as your number of programming cores in your CPU, and every core is allocated some task, and all of them are processing at once. And when their processing is done, all the tasks, results of all the tasks are joined together, and that is why NumPy is very fast. Okay, so then comparison and value testing are also true for uh, in case of
Sir,
NumPy.
can you take any example, any real life example so that I can understand?
Any example? I'm just saying, like, how would I give any example for this? Like, just suppose that if you want to do the matrix multiplication, what does the formula says for matrix multiplication? Okay, finding the inverse. Okay, so this breaking down of inverse, like there are suppose that 3 cross 3 rows. So what happens, the matrix will be broken down into 3 cores. So not like that. So one core will be doing the matrix multiplication, okay, then other code is waiting for the result of matrix, result of inverse of the matrix, and one code is doing finding the determinant of the matrix already. So when the inverse of the matrix is being found here, then matrix is being instantly transposed because other processing code was already ready for transposing it. And then the determinant of the matrix is being found already, so it is being simply divided in all of the matrix to generate the inverse of the matrix here. Okay, is it clear or still having any doubt?
Yes, sir. Now
Just
clear,
for
sir.
I'm saying, just like one single task is subdivided into many tasks and all of them are performing in sync. Okay, so that is why the execution becomes very fast.
Okay, sir. Now I understand.
Okay, okay, then here some SQL queries are being used here in NumPy. Like, what is here, np.where, okay, where a not equal to 0, the first condition. If the condition is passes, then what it does, 1 divided by a gets printed, and that 1 divided by a is stored in the variable a, and it is being stored in the new array. Okay, is it clear? An example of where function.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then there are more complex logic section here that are achieved using boolean expressions like logical and, logical or. Okay, so NumPy has, just my topic was, the motive of my saying is that NumPy has everything, whatever problem that you can think of, whatever kind of expression that you can think of, or execution or type of programming that you can do, it has a function for each and every of thing, and that is why execution is fast, because you don't have to write a single line of code on your own, just one, straight away call the function and you get your result.
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Yeah, sure.
In NumPy, we all are performing all the operation only for integer.
Yeah, NumPy stands for numerical Python.
Yes, sir.
The full form of NumPy is numerical Python. No idea. Okay, So it is only for numerical data. Like SciPy stands for scientific Python. So it is for scientific purposes only. Okay.
So if we are using a string, then it will give error.
Yes, obviously. But what we can do, we can use strings as ASCII values. Instead of using
Yes.
directly strings,
Yes.
we can use, we also use NumPy for pre-processing the string values. But what, how we treat the strings as? By calling their ASCII values. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
these ASCII values are numbered here. Okay. So now comes vector and matrix mathematics. Okay. Like np dot is used to create dot product. Okay. Then np dot
Yes, sir.
outer is used to do outer product. Inner is used to do inner product. Cross is used to do cross product of the between two NP arrays, NumPy arrays. Okay, why I'm saying NumPy arrays not arrays, because NumPy arrays are different from actual arrays that are being implemented in Python. Why? Normal arrays are being stored in, again, as usual, 2 byte per character format, but here it is being stored as 8 byte per character. Okay. Then np.linear algebra, lin.alg.det, it gives you determinant value of a matrix. Okay. Then to get eigenvalues of a matrix and eigenvectors of a matrix, you can directly call linear algebra, np.lin.alg, linear algebra.eig of a vector of a matrix A. So it will give you both eigenvalues of the matrix and eigenvectors of the matrix. Then inverse of a matrix, again inv is used. Okay. Then there is singular value decomposition is also true. Then polynomial mathematics. What is polynomial mathematics? If you are entering the roots of the function here in np.poly, then it will generate the actual polynomial for you. You have to enter the roots of a matrix in list format in np.poly. Okay. Then np.roots. What np.roots will give? It will be just the opposite of poly function. Here you will be entering the coefficients of the polynomial function and it will give you the roots of the polynomial function. Okay. Then polyint is used to integrate the polynomial, and what it will give you, an array, a numpy array of integrate the coefficients of integrated polynomial. Then if the polynomial integration is true, then polynomial derivation is also true, and that is used as polyder. Okay, POLYDER. Okay. Then if you want, you can get the value of a particular polynomial at a particular like if there is a polynomial x cube plus 3x square minus 3x y cube. Okay, simply a polynomial here, not just a polynomial like 5x cube plus 6x square plus 10x plus 12. Okay, this is the polynomial. So if you can find the value of a polynomial at a particular value, like here the value of the coefficients of polynomial are passed as a list, and the value or the particular point which you want the polynomial to be evaluated is being passed as a second parameter, and what is the value we get? The value of evaluated polynomial at the particular point. Then polyfit is used to fit a polynomial, okay, to a specific order of data set given using least squared approach. Okay. Then np.median is used to find out the median of an array. The correlation coefficient of an array is found using CORCEF. Okay, CORCOEF. Then COV is used to find out the covariance of the data. Then random is also used to generate the random numbers, like random.rand is used to generate a random number between 0.0 to 1.0. Okay. Then random.Poisson is used to generate a random number with Poisson distribution. Okay, then normal distribution is also true. Okay. So these are some of the functions that is available in NumPy. Okay, is it clear? NumPy is clear or not? Or you're having doubts on NumPy as well?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, so now next comes pandas. Okay, pip install pandas is used to again install the pandas. Please everyone install the pandas right now through command prompt. Run the command pip install pandas. Okay, 2 minutes break. Let me come and have some water. Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's continue with pandas right now, or do you want some break? Or you want to take it next class? It's your choice.
Sir,
If you want some break, or
this class.
if you want, you can take it in next class. It's all your choice. I have no problem taking in another hour. So decide among yourself and tell me that you want to continue them in next class, or you want to continue it now.
Sir, we want to break only for 5 minutes. After that, we can continue.
Sorry. Hello.
Sir, only for 5 minutes.
Okay. Then what I will do, I will close this recording and I will open a new recording when the class resumes. Okay.